have a course that's called Destroy Your Reputation, because if we can, yeah, it's like, that's what I had to do even to start doing spiritual teaching. I was so embarrassed. I'm from the literary world in New York City, very cynical on the atheistic side. Like, nobody's talking about spirituality. That said, my friends were always like calling me on the DL and being like, hey, would you say a prayer with me? Would you teach me how to meditate? I'd be like, absolutely. Yeah. So I had to like kind of like destroy my reputation to do what I'm doing now. To make the choice to get divorced was a big deal for me. I was a spiritual teacher, and people had worked with me to do work on love. And here I was getting divorced, So some of these, I've had to like walk through a lot of that. And it's still like, those are the big things. But I feel like, tell me if you relate to this, like in your life, do you go like for me, it's like little things throughout the day that will show up where I'm afraid of what other people will think.
It's everything. I don't think there's one decision I make in my day that I don't think, what are people going to think? It is like one of my biggest plagues. So, I mean, I talk about it all the time. It's like, what will people think? And it's not even so much what will the outside person across the street think, even though that does come to play. It's more, it's more on a personal level. What are your friends and family going to think? What's your husband going to think? What's this person going to think? But it is universal. I go through my day all day, even though I know I shouldn't, thinking, what will people think? Which is so funny because my husband is the kind of guy that does not give a fuck what anyone says, thinks, or does. So he doesn't understand this side of me at all. He's like, who cares? Just do it type of thing. So we have this big contrast, and I'm like, if only I can have a little bit of that in me. And I see it in my daughter. She's only 4 and she does not care what people think. So I actually like applaud it. I'm like, thank God she has that side of my husband and not me, because it can be debilitating when you care so much what people think.
Okay, Courtney, I'm so curious about this, and I love this conversation. Why do you think that you have that fear and he doesn't? Or he has it less?
I internally think it is just the way we were brought up. And I don't know if it's male versus female. And I don't agree that it is male versus female because my daughter doesn't have it. But also, I've done a lot of work to deal with my own issues in it. So I really, really try hard not to put that on her. So I can't really say that. If I want to think about other conversations I've had, girls are raised to be the good girl and fall in line and be perfect. So I think there's a little bit of that. I think there's a little bit of that in that. But I also think it's just kind of the way we're brought up a little bit. I don't know. I have cared my entire life, as long as I can remember, about what people think about me. And I'm 41, so I'm only a couple years older than you. And it's like just in the last year and a half that I finally started pushing those limits and getting uncomfortable with the idea and trying to accept that, people aren't always going to like what I am doing, and that's okay. It still doesn't negate that feeling. Those feelings still come up. It's a constant message on replay in my head, but I'm facing it now head on. So I'm definitely in the trenches of dealing with it, but I don't know why. I've felt it my whole entire life. And I think I'm not the only one.
Oh my God. No, not at all. Not at all. It's like one of my most important, like people love when I teach on it. And I made the course, the course Destroy Your Reputation, because I have had to over and over again dismantle that. Even now, like going to pick up my son at school, one that's hot for me is like, I feel different than all these other parents. Do they think I'm like, different parent? So just like this kind of like, what will people think? It definitely still shows up for me. And and this is in no way, I had parents, who were just like the typical, parents that a lot of people have. But there was a lot of talk about how things would appear to others, or how it would come across. So that was kind of like ingrained in me as a child to think about that. A couple things that have really like blown my mind in the past few years about how little I actually know about what other people think. Like, I really have no clue what other people are really thinking. And even if I'm guessing, I'm probably wrong.